Hello there, and welcome to episode number 3 of a Finch's Nest podcast. My name is Heather, and I am your host for today. This podcast is about all my knitting and sewing and other needlework that I might be involved in. This week it's mostly knitting and just a little bit of sewing. So today is Actually, I have no idea what the date is today. Today is March 19th, and I live in Ontario, and today is actually a beautiful sunny day, and it's still a little chilly, but you can feel that spring is coming, so that's exciting, and I'm definitely looking forward to spring. Today I'm not using my microphone because for some reason it's decided not to work today. And I have no idea why, and I've been playing with it for like an hour now, and it's not working. So hopefully you can hear me okay with just the iPad microphone, and hopefully next time I can get it working again, but yeah, I have no idea why it's not working. So yeah, we're just going on without it. So it's been a while since I've podcast, and yeah, life happened. So a couple weeks ago, I was not feeling very well. I had terrible pain in my back and was just not feeling well. And then I started throwing up like crazy and a fever and all kinds of stuff. Anyways, I ended up being admitted to the hospital, and it turns out that I had a significant gallbladder attack. But one of the gallstones actually left the gallbladder and lodged itself where it didn't belong, which caused a very serious situation and a terrible infection, and that's why the fever, and that's why I was throwing up. And yeah, my liver was enlarged, and it was just really not a good situation. So after a few days in the hospital and a couple surgeries, I came home, and so I've been recovering and just trying to get back to normal. So that's been almost 2 weeks ago now, so I'm starting to feel much better. I wouldn't say I have all my energy back yet, but I'm certainly able to do more, so I'm very thankful for that, and I'm very thankful for the care that I received at the hospital and for free medical care in Canada. So yeah, so I'm really grateful for that. Not grateful for what I had to go through, but I'm glad it's over, and that now my gallbladder will not cause me any more problems. So that's great. So anyways, that's why I've been a bit absent, and hopefully now I'll be back to normal. So places you can find me on Instagram at A Finch's Nest. And you can also find me on Ravelry. I did set up a group for A Finch's Nest. It's very quiet over there, so it'd be nice to have some more people join the group, and we can start chatting about different projects and stuff. But you will find show notes for today's podcast on the Ravelry group with links to some of the items that I've been talking about. So you might want to head over there and check that out. So let's see, today, finished objects. Let's start with that. My hair is going to drive me crazy today. But anyways, finished objects. So I think last time I podcast, I talked a bit about the beekeepers quilt. That years ago, I had started this project thinking that I was going to make a blanket, which I don't know why I ever thought I was going to be able to do that. But anyways, for those of you who don't know the beekeepers quilt, it is... There's not really a great picture here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. It's basically, here, I'll try and see if you can see that. But I will show you what it is. So it's basically a blanket that you make with hexagons. So little hexagons like this. Now in the pattern it calls for you to stuff them with like fiberfill, but I didn't want to do that. So they're just like a two-sided hexagon, and then you just join them together. So in the pattern, like I said, it calls for them to be stuffed with fiberfill, And then I think it says in the pattern to just tie them together, which in my home with children and pets, it's not going to be very durable. So all along I thought I would just make them and sew them together and I'd make this beautiful big blanket, but I quickly realized that that was never going to happen. So I did have a bunch of these hexagons, and so I decided to make this pillow with all my hexagons. Now, I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. So, yeah, I just joined all the hexagons together. I used a crochet hook, and I don't really crochet. I know how to chain, and I couldn't read a pattern and do it, but I know how to make a graining square. I know how to make a chain, that kind of thing. But I decided that I tried sewing the hexagons together just with like a needle and some thread, but it just wasn't looking very good. So I Googled how to join blocks with crochet. So I watched the YouTube video and I ended up using this crochet hook, which is a 3.5 millimeter, and just some scrap gray yarn that I had. It was actually a mini, and I still have quite a bit left, so I'll put that in my other blanket. But anyways, in the end, this is how it turned out. So I joined them all with the crochet method that I saw on YouTube, and you know, it's not perfect, but I think it's really cute. So yeah, and then on the back, I had this navy, it's kind of like, it's not as heavy as a canvas, but almost. And then I just put some buttons on that I had in my stash. So that's the back. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I have a chair in our basement that is kind of my knitting chair and my chair. So I'm going to put this in my knitting chair. I think it's going to look really cute. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out. And I'm happy that I got to use all these hexagons that I had knit up. And I think this is the perfect use for it for me because the blanket was just never going to happen. So yeah. So anyways, yeah, I'm really happy with that. And I think it's going to look really unique and cute in my knitting chair. So I still have a lot, well, not a lot, quite a few hexagons left. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I might wait and see if I hear of somebody else who's doing one who would like them. I can pop them in the mail or something because, yeah, they're done and they're ready to go, but I'm not making any more of these. So my days of the beekeeper quilts are done, and I'm glad I got to find a use for my hexagon. So I think that is really cute. So when I got home from the hospital last week, I really wanted to knit, but if you've ever had surgery before, people talk about brain fog, and I think it's a real thing. After you've had surgery, your brain's just kind of not working at its full capacity, I don't think. So I was trying to pick up some of my knitting, and I had a sweater on my needles and a few other things, but I just couldn't focus enough to do it. Or I had some socks on my needles, but the stitches just seemed really small and stuff. But I definitely wanted to be doing something. So I decided I would just cast on some dishcloths because they're kind of mindless, and well, they are mindless and they're useful, and it was just something for me to do. So, and as it turns out, my oldest daughter and her husband are moving into a new apartment in a couple weeks. So I thought, oh well, I'll just give them these as a nice little welcome to your new apartment. So here's one of them. Now, they're not perfectly square. Now I haven't blocked them or anything, and I'm sure when I do, they'll be a little more square than they are right now. But yeah, so this one, I don't know if you can see, has little flecks of different colors in it. And I thought it was very springy and it looked cute. And then I did a turquoise tealy sort of one. And then I did a nice bright pink one. So yeah, they're just plain knitting, but it was the perfect thing while I was recovering, and I think they all look really cute together. So I'll just tie those up with some string and give those to her for a little housewarming present. So for those, I used the Gramma's Dishcloth pattern by PJ Allen. And in the pattern, I can't remember how many stitches. I think she said, so this is one of those dishcloths where you start in the corner and you work up till the width that you want. So I think she had said 44 stitches at this point, but I was using a slightly smaller needle, so I went up to 54 stitches on these ones. And I use these needles, which are a 4mm needle, but I have these little needles. They are perfect for dishcloths. Yeah, so I just used these little ones, which I think was a size smaller than what she had called for in the pattern, but it worked fine. And yeah, so I just worked up to the 54 stitches and then started the decreasing. And the colors I used were, this one is the Knit Picks Dishy, and it is the, I don't know what colorway it is. Anyways, it's Knit Picks Dishy. It's a pretty color. The multicolored one is I Love This Cotton from Hobby Lobby, and this is the Fiesta colorway. And then the last one is the Bernat Handicrafter Cotton in the hot pink colorway. This is all I have left of that one. So now I might make it like a scrappy one with the leftovers and maybe keep that one for myself. So my next finished object is a pair of socks. So I was working on these before, so you've seen these before, but now they are finished, and I should have brought my sock blockers up, and I forgot. So anyways, this is a new pair of socks for me. I'm going to keep these ones for myself. I really like the colors of these. These are my colors. So yeah, so the yarn was by Yarn Indulgences, and it's her Zed Lux sock base in the Spring and Bronte Village colorway. And I talked about this colorway before. I believe this colorway is exclusive to Spun Fiber Arts store in Oakville, Ontario. And yeah, I believe that she dyes it specifically for that store. And that's where I purchased it. And this is all I have left. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. Normally I'd make like a baby hat or something, but I don't know if it's really the colors for a baby hat, so we'll see. I'll find something to use it for. So for the socks, I just did a plain vanilla sock. So for my plain vanilla socks, I cast on 64 stitches and on a 2.5mm needle. And I do about 1.5 inches of a 2x2 rib. And then I just do stocking stitch until it measures 6 inches from the top to where I'm going to start my heel. And then I refer, excuse me, a heel flap, and then the turn and the gusset, and then just your standard sock toe. So yeah, they turned out nice, and the base is really nice. It has cashmere in it, so they're really squishy and soft. So I'm looking forward to a new pair of socks. I've noticed that a lot of my homemade socks are starting to feel a little bit thin on the bottom. So I'm gonna have to start knitting myself some more socks because I really don't like wearing store-bought socks at all. So I'm gonna have to make some more nice hand knit socks for myself. So that's that finished object. I have one more finished object. So despite being sick, I did get quite a bit done, I think. And in the last few days, actually, I've really been wanting to knit everything and trying to avoid all the housework that needs to be done. So tomorrow I'm gonna have to do the housework. So, okay, this next finished object is a hat, and it's called It's a Snap, and it's by Tin Can Knits. So I had seen on the Tin Can Knits Instagram page that they posted about this one day. And I had actually never seen this hat before, or hadn't noticed it. And so I thought, oh, that looks interesting. Maybe that would be a nice mindless sort of project. So I thought I would try it. So this hat is actually knit using scrap fingering weight yarns. And you hold 4 strands of fingering weight yarn held together to create the hat. So I thought, oh, this is a great way to use up some of those leftover bits from socks or from other projects. And I have a lot of scraps, so I thought, oh, this will be a good way to use up some of those. So anyways, here is the finished hat. So it's really thick and squishy, and I think it would be really, really warm. I don't know that I love it. It's nice. It's nice. Some of the things I don't like about it is I feel like maybe it was decreased too quickly at the top. So it seems kind of bunchy at the top. But I do like the way the colors all worked, and I was able to use up a ton of scraps. So that was good. And I have more scraps here in my bucket, but I had a lot of scraps that were like just little balls like this. And so I used up a whole bunch of them. So that was really great. And there were some colors that I didn't really like that, you know, I wouldn't use for heels and toes in socks or anything. But when you marl it all together with different colors, you don't notice that they're colors that you might not like so much. So, and I tried to, you know, go from dark at the bottom up to lighter shades. So yeah, I think it's really nice. I just feel like it's a little bunchy at the top, and maybe it's just because you're holding the 4 strands together, it is a very dense fabric, and so maybe that's why it seems bunchy at the top. I don't know, but anyways, so we'll see. I don't know if my kids are gonna want it, or I might donate it. We have a local charity that they do it baskets for people in town who are struggling, and yeah, they do them at Christmas time, so they often like to have hats and mitts and stuff. So I might just donate it there for somebody for next Christmas. But anyways, it would be a really warm hat and a great way to use up scraps. So for this hat, the pattern called for a 4.5 millimeter needle and a 6.5 millimeter needle. So I didn't have a 6.5 millimeter needle, and I'm really just trying not to buy stuff, so I just used what I had. So I did the ribbing on the bottom on a 4.5 millimeter, and then I did the bulk, the main part of the hat on a 6 millimeter instead of the 6.5. But it turned out fine, and it's definitely big enough. It fits me, and it would definitely fit any of my kids. So yeah, so It's a Snap hat by Tin Can Knits. So, and I'm really happy to have used up a lot of little scraps. So I might actually make another one and keep it for next Christmas for that charity as well, because I know they're always looking for donations of stuff like that, and I'm happy to help out where I can. So that's good. So works in progress now. I have about 4 here, I think, right now. I do have other things on my needles, but they're just in timeout right now. So, but these are sort of the ones that I'm actively working on right now. So the first one is the Trek sweater, which I had talked about last time that I was thinking of casting on, but I wasn't really sure and I didn't know what to do. So anyways, I did end up casting on. And again, this is the Trek sweater, which you can see there is by Tin Can Knits. Again, I do like their patterns, and it's in their book called Strange Brew. This is a great book. There's so many nice patterns in here. And I have to really try not to get distracted by the other patterns because there's a few that I'd like to make. I have to just do one at a time. So right now it's the Trek sweater. So I did cast on a few weeks ago. So I have gotten quite a bit done on the body. So I should have measured it and I could have told you how far I was. But I don't know, maybe 11 inches would be my guess. So yeah, so I like the way it's knitting up. This yarn I'm using for the main part, I've not used this yarn before. It's the Diamond Luxury Fine Merino Superwash DK. This yarn is so nice. Let me see if there's a color number 403, which is like a charcoal gray. See if you can see the color. This yarn is so soft. It's really nice. And I know when I bought this, the store I bought it at was clearing it out. So I don't even know if anyone local to me carries this, but this is really nice yarn. I'll definitely want to use it again because it is so soft. It's hard to believe that it's 100% wool because sometimes it has a little itch or scratch or tooth to it, but this does not at all. It's really, really nice. So I'm really excited about this project. I'm assuming at this point it's not going to be finished till next winter, but at least come fall, maybe I'll have a nice new sweater to wear. So I'm not in a hurry to do this. It's kind of when I feel like it kind of knitting. So yeah, it might take a while, but that's okay. So I'm just working away on the body. I haven't worked on it for probably a couple weeks now, but yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a nice sweater when it's done. So yeah, and I did talk about all the contrast colors on a different episode, so I won't talk about those again today, but this is in my bag from Buku. She is, I should tie these up, that looks a little nicer. She is a textile artist in Toronto, and she was recently looking for someone to do a swap with her because she was looking for some naturally dyed yarns to use in a weaving project. And so she had put out a call on her Instagram that if anyone was interested in doing a swap with her, that she was looking for someone. So I contacted her and I was able to dye up a bunch of yarn for her, and that was fun, and I was able to send a nice variety of colors for her to choose from for her project, and in return she sent me this really nice bag. So I really like it. It's a great bag, and sometimes I'll just take it like my purse, throw my wallet in it and take it with me if my daughter has music lessons or whatever. So anyways, that's Buku in Toronto if you're interested in that bag. And she has a lot of really nice bags. My next work in progress is the Jodi shawl. So this has a bit of a story to it. So this is the Jodi shawl by Locatelli. I'm sure you've all seen it before. She came out with this quite a while ago, and I started this, I think it was in September, and I had actually bought the yarn for it last spring. I had gone to the Knitter's Frolic in Toronto and saw this yarn, and I thought, those are my colors, I need to have that yarn. And for some reason I had it in my head that the Jodi shawl was a 2-color shawl, which it's not, it's a 3-color shawl. So when I bought the yarn, I only bought 2 colors. So when I bought it, I originally bought these 2. So these are both by Julia Slynn, and they're in the Lisu DK weight, and the colors are, and I don't speak French, so I'm not going to do this well. This one is Antique, And the other one is, it's basically pressed flowers in French. Fleur, pressé, I don't know. So anyways, it's a really, really nice color though. It's maybe not showing up as nice in the camera, but it is a really nice color. So anyway, so I had bought those two thinking I would do the shawl. And then when I realized I needed one more colorway, I tried to order one online, which is not a good idea. But anyways, I ordered this one, which is the Blackberry Coulis colorway. And when I saw them together, I thought, oh yeah, that works. No, it doesn't. So anyways, I got to the part in the shawl, which you can see on the picture. Just at the bottom here, you add in this final color. So in this case, it's the blue. So I got to that point in the shawl and put in that this color, and it did not match at all. It was, it's too red, I think, for the rest of it. And these colors are kind of, they're beautiful, but they're more, I don't want to say dead, but less vibrant maybe than this. And it really just didn't go. So then I put the shawl in timeout because I didn't know what to do, and I think I talked about this before. I don't love my local yarn store, so for me to go to a yarn store is, you know, a good 45 minutes really away. So I don't go very often. And obviously I didn't want to order anything online again, and I didn't have anything in my stash that was going to work. So anyways, a few weeks ago I decided that I really wanted to finish this. And so I went to the yarn store and we pulled off so many skeins of yarn, and it's just this is just a really funny color. So anyways, here's the shawl. So it starts with that really nice pressed flowers colorway, and then you move into the antique, and now I'm just at the where you add in that final color. So anyways, when I was at the yarn store, the lady was super helpful, and it was that store called All Strung Out that I spoke about before in Guelph, Ontario. Fantastic store. I was in there for quite a while, and the lady was so patient and she was so helpful, and we just had such a hard time finding a color. So in the end, we found this one, which is a Cascade 220. So this is actually a worsted weight, and the rest is a DK weight, but I think it's going to be okay because it's just that bottom final color, and really there was nothing else in that whole store that was going to go. So the color is color number 75. So you can see I've just started adding it there. So it's definitely a much better color than what I had before. So I think it's going to be really nice when it's finished. And I like the idea of having that darker color at the bottom just to kind of finish it off. But as you can see, this one was not the right color at all. So that's fine. I'll use this for something else. But yeah, I'm much happier with this one. It just is, it's better. It's in the same color family, I think. So anyway, so I only have maybe 25 more rows to finish this. So I'm just on that lace section at the very bottom, and then it'll be finished in time for spring. But that's okay, winter always comes back. So anyways, I'm really happy with this, and I think it'll be really nice when it's finished. Even though I'm not a huge shawl person, I don't wear a lot of shawls, but I think I'm going to really like this one. It's pretty. I like the colors. So anyway, so that's the Jodi shawl by Locatelli. So, and I just have that in a bag that I made. So my next project, I'm just drinking water. My next project is another bag that I made, my little Red Riding Hood bag that I love. So this past Christmas, the Cozy Knitter, she's a dyer, also in Ontario. She did a colorway, and I don't remember what it was called, but basically there was 24 different colored stripes in a self-striping yarn, and the idea was you would knit a stripe each day leading up to Christmas. So I actually didn't order it, but a friend of mine did, and she knit herself a pair of socks, and then there was enough left for another pair. So I was able to get that from her, and just the other day I started this sock. So this is this part here, the striping part is the Cozy Knitter, and she is a self-striping expert. She does a lot of self-striping yarns, and she does a really good job. They're not, sometimes, you know, with self-striping they can be a bit muddy where they switch from one color to the other. Hers are not. They're very, very well done. So again, this is my normal vanilla sock that I'm knitting on a 2.5 millimeter needle. And for the cuff, I used the Patton's Croy sock in their muslin colorway. Oh, the light is blowing this out. It's just an off-white. And I love Patton's Croy for socks. It's a workhorse yarn. And it's, if you get it on sale, it's really quite reasonable. So that's what I'm going to use for the heel, cuff, and toes on these socks. Yeah, so I just did my normal 6 inches, and then I just did my heel turn, and I'm working on the gusset still. Actually, no, I think I just finished the gusset. So now it's just the foot. I will say, as much as I like these, I'm not in love with them. I don't know if it's just too many colors for me. So they're definitely a really nice sock. Nice, sturdy. The base is really nice. I just don't know if it's something that I would wear. So I'm definitely going to finish them, but they might be a gift for somebody. I know somebody who would actually really love these. So I'm thinking they might potentially be a gift for her. So for these, because my friend had already knit them, I just have, this is how much I have left for this sock. So I think it'll be plenty. And then I'll do the toe again in the cream. And then I just have another little skein for the other sock. So just enough, which is great because I probably won't have anything left over, or not much. So, and these will be a nice, I'm sure these will be a gift for somebody, because I don't know, they're maybe just a little too colorful for me, but they're really cute and definitely a nice base. And yeah, they'll be a nice sturdy sock. So yeah, so that's just a vanilla sock. They're great to have on the go. Tomorrow night I have my knit night at the library, so I'll take these with me and I can work on them without having to think about what I'm doing while I'm chatting with the other ladies, so that'll be really good. And speaking of knit night at the library, I belong to a knitting group in the town that I live in, and we meet once a month. And it's a great group of ladies, and I really enjoy it. But I don't know, it's a bigger group, and sometimes it's hard to get to know people and whatever. So I heard about this group that met at the library in town, and apparently they meet every Wednesday night and have for quite a while, and I don't know how I never heard about this. But anyways, somebody told me about it, and so I went last week for the first time, and there was only about 5 or 6 other ladies there. It was really nice. It was just, there's this nice little room in the library that has a fireplace, and they let us meet in there, and it's just very informal. Everybody just brings their project they're working on, and we just sit around and chat, and there's no agenda, there's no plan of the meeting or anything like that. It's just ladies getting together to knit. So it was really fun, and the ladies were really nice and friendly and welcoming, so that was good. So now I'm really looking forward to that, and it's every week, so I have a good excuse to go out every Wednesday night now. So I'm looking forward to that, and the library is only about 10 minutes from my house, so it's really convenient, and yeah, definitely something that I'm going to be going to on a regular basis. So anyways, so that is just that plain vanilla sock. Oh, and then I guess maybe I could show you in here too. This is a project that I'm thinking of casting on. I do want to finish up a couple other things first, but I've been eyeing up the Kobu cat by Caitlin Hunter. I had knit one for my oldest daughter for Christmas, and I really liked the way it turned out. But I had this yarn in my stash. This is another Yarn Indulgences colorway, but oh, it's so pretty. It's called Sugar Plum. So lots of, it is getting blown out a little bit by the light, but just lots of pinks and purples. And I have in my stash this Drops Kid Silk in this pretty pink. So I thought that this would make a great Kobu cat for myself. So one of these days I'm going to cast that on too, because you can't have too many projects, right? There's never enough projects. So every day you just feel like working on something different. So yeah, so that's some dream knitting, I guess. So another project I've been working on is the Sutton slippers. So this, I had done the Make 9 at the beginning of the year. So I had made a list of the 9 projects that I really wanted to work on this year. So, and the Sutton slip, oh, I actually have my Make 9 right here. And there's the Sutton slippers. So I'm doing pretty good. I've cast on this and the Sutton slippers and those socks in the middle there. So I'm working my way through the Make 9. So that's good. So I decided, when I saw this pattern for the Sutton slippers come out, I thought that this would be a great project to knit up for Christmas gifts this year. So I like to work on my Christmas gifts all year long because I don't like to stress at the end. So normally I start in February. Now this year I haven't started yet. So partly because I was sick, and partly because I've been working on some other fun things for myself. So it's hard to get motivated to do Christmas stuff right now. But anyways, now I need to start. So I thought I would knit the Sutton slippers for some of the girls in the family. So here's another picture that you might be able to see better. So they're just like a slipper sock. And then on the bottom, if you can see there on this picture, there's like leather patches on the bottom so you don't slip. So this pattern is by Espastrico, which is a yarn store in Montreal. And I'm sure you've all heard of them. And they have a podcast. So as soon as I saw this, I really liked them and I wanted to knit some. So first of all, I checked out, sorry about my nose being so itchy. I had checked out their website to see what yarn they had used, and also to check out their kits because they had kits for it. And I couldn't justify the price for the kits. So I decided to go through my stash and see what kind of DK weight yarns that I had. And because I want to make multiple ones, I just pulled out all the DK yarn, and then I'm just going to kind of mix and match as I go along. So the first yarn I found that I thought would be perfect is the Patton's Classic Wool in the Superwash DK. And this you can buy at Michael's here in Canada. It is not expensive. It's on sale sometimes, which makes it a good value. And it's just 100% wool. And it's, you know, maybe not the softest. It's 100% pure new wool. It's not the softest. It's a bit toothy, but they're slippers. And you'll probably have socks on underneath anyway. So I think it's perfect for this project. So here are some of the colors that I had in this yarn. So I thought this would be perfect. So as you can see from this picture, there's some you cast on with the dark gray, and then there's a bit of color work. And then you get into the foot, which has that lice stitch. So anyways, I cast on just a couple days ago. So this is as far as I've gotten. And I love them. So I had started following the pattern. So I did the gray, and then I did the color work, just like the pattern, only where there's this green, I put in the pink. But then when I got down to here, I did start it like this in the off-white with the gray lice stitch. But I didn't know if I really wanted to do all those lice stitches. And also, I didn't know if I really wanted the foot to be off-white because, you know, they're going to be dirty all the time. So anyways, I thought I'll try to do this one just plain in the bottom. And then I thought when I get to the heel and toe, just like a sock, I'll do the heel and toe in this. And just see how that looks for this pair. And because I want to knit quite a few pairs of these, I just don't know that I could do the lice on every pair. And I don't know, I think it's wiser to have the dark color on the bottom to help hide some of the dirt. So when I cast these on, the sizing was, it comes in 3 different sizes, but it just goes by like finished measurement sizes. So, and I guess it's the circumference size. So I didn't really know what size I should do. So I thought I'll cast on for the smallest size, and then, which was 56 stitches, I think. Yeah, 56 stitches on a DK weight. So I thought I'll try the smallest size first, and if it doesn't fit me, it'll fit one of my younger girls. And then I'll just have a better idea of what size I want to do going forward. So yeah, I picked out a bunch of scraps. So I have quite a bit of off-white, and I have a little bit more gray and some turquoise and a bit of red and navy. So I can mix them up, but this color combination I really, really like. So I think it looks okay with having the solid bottom, but we'll see when it's finished, and then I'll make a decision going forward. So the needles I'm using for this, I used a 2.75 carbons for the cuff at the top. And now I'm using I think it's a 3.5 millimeter zings, which are my favorite for the body of them. So yeah, so I just started these 2 days ago, and it's working out really quickly. I haven't really spent that much time on them. So it's a quick knit, and yeah, I think they're really cute. So we'll see how many pairs I get through. And yeah, I'll give you an idea when I finish this one of sizing, because yeah, I found that a little tricky, what size to pick. So I'll let you know when I finish this pair how they knit up. So I did, when I was at the yarn store to get the yarn for the Jodi shawl, I did pick up some more DK weight yarn, just so I had some more color options. And this is the Barocco Ultra Wash DK, which I spoke about before, because I bought this same brand for the color work on my Trek sweater. So these are the colors that I bought to make up some more socks, slipper socks. So I thought that was a nice combination. The pink's getting a little blown out there, but yeah, so these are, let's see, 100% superwash wool. and it is 100 grams, 292 yards. And the price point is really good on this stuff. So this color is 83104. And this one is 8301. And this one is 8310. So yeah, I think that would make a nice pair too. So now I have lots of options. Oh, and I also had this one in my stash. This is another Patton's Classic Wool Superwash DK. And it's kind of that marled, I don't know if you can see it very well. Marled, like a work sock. So I thought I would try to do a pair and use it for the main part. And then either do color work up here with maybe some red and navy, or maybe just do some stripes or something like a work sock. But I thought that would be really cute. So yeah, and I can think of one of my Christmas recipients who would really like this. So I'm going to try it with some red for sure, and maybe the navy, but that would be cute. Or maybe the charcoal and red. We'll see. So yeah, I'm going to make lots of Sutton slippers for this Christmas. And I just need to find a place to get the patches for the bottom. I'm hoping to find a place that's fairly reasonable price-wise to get those. So if you know of anywhere where I can purchase those for a good price, I would love to hear about that. Because yeah, some of them seem to be a bit expensive. So just trying to watch the budget, you know. So I think that's it for works in progress. I did want to show you something that I had dyed recently with my natural dyeing, because I always think it's interesting how the colors surprise you every time. So I did recently open an Etsy store as well to sell some of my hand dyed yarns, because I really like making it, but I can't knit it fast enough. So I did open up an Etsy store, which is called a Finch's Nest as well. And yeah, so you can purchase hand dyed yarns on there, and it's all naturally dyed yarns. So anyways, here's one of my recent, oh, and this is not the right color at all. It's looking really red. Oh, that's too bad. This is, oh, not at all the right color. Darn. This is like, maybe this is a bit better. The truest raspberry color. So I dyed this up with some cochineal and I got this beautiful raspberry color, which again is not really showing up. So whenever I make a dye bath, I'll dye a skein or two, and then if there's color left, I use the second dye bath. So for the second dye bath, from this, I got this color, which is, they're so different. It's funny to think that they came from, excuse me, the same dye bath. So yeah, this is like a bubblegum pink, and it was just the same dye bath as this. And then the third dye bath came out like this. So you can see how different they are and how surprising it is when you take them out of the pot. So yeah, the final one is like a lavender color. It's very interesting how it changes so much. So these two are in my shop currently. You can see my tags there. So yeah, these ones are currently in my shop. So, and this one I think I'm going to knit a hat for myself out of it. I wish you could see the color better. It is a bit better back here, but yeah, it's really a beautiful raspberry color. So that's been some of the fun I've been having with my natural dyeing. So that's always lots of fun for me. So I think that's about it for today. I have been busy. I did have multiple days when I was in the hospital and when I first got home that I didn't knit at all. So, and didn't do much of anything for that matter. So, and when I went to the hospital, I had no idea that I was going to have to stay there. So my daughter had just dropped me off and I thought, oh, they'll just give me some medicine and send me home. And then I got stuck there for a few days. So I had nothing with me. I couldn't even use my phone because I hadn't brought my charger. So I was trying to just conserve my battery for when I really needed to contact my kids. And so, yeah, it was a few days of not being very productive at all. But I really didn't feel like doing anything at that point anyways. But yeah, it's good to be feeling healthier again and having some time to knit. And, you know, recovery is never fun when you have to go through these things, but at least with knitting it helps pass the time a bit. And at least you feel somewhat productive while you're resting on the couch. So my resting on the couch days are past now, and now I can be up and productive and getting some things done. I just find that I get tired very easily, so I just can't do what I normally do. So, but it'll come back soon, and hopefully that is the last of surgeries for a while, because that was, yeah, I had thyroid surgery in September, and then I had 2 different procedures to deal with this gallbladder, and so I'm done for a while. I don't really want anything else. So other than that, I can't think of anything that's terribly new and exciting in our life. Yeah, we're all just really happy to be getting close to spring. My kids were off last week for March break, so that was a little bit challenging, I have to admit, because I wasn't feeling well. I had just had surgery, and yeah, it was a bit challenging to have them home, and we weren't able to do anything because I just wasn't well enough. But it was nice to not have to get up in the morning and get them off to school, so we were able to sleep in and just have some quiet time. I don't know if you can hear some rattling over here, but my cat is playing with the blinds on the window, so yeah, that's what that clinking noise is. Yeah, so I think that's it. So if you want to head over to the Ravelry group and join us there, that would be awesome. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, it's at a Finch's Nest. And also, if you want to check out my Etsy store, it is also called a Finch's Nest, and I'll leave a link for that in the show notes, which will be on the Ravelry page. So thanks for joining me, and thanks for sharing in all my knitting. And yeah, it's fun to have someone to talk to about my knitting. And it would be more fun if you were right here with me and we could talk back and forth about the knitting, but it is nice to have people to talk to about the knitting and yeah, all the fun things that I get up to. So anyways, I hope you have a great week, and hopefully I'll be back in 2 weeks this time and not so long afterwards. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a great week. Take care. Bye.